It takes one conversation. One conversation, they go from, I don't know who you are, I'm happy with my current life, my current state. This will completely transform recruiting. Now I get it. In one conversation. The recruiting market is full of analysts. And the analysts and these other influencers and people in the market, they're not first principles. They haven't lived and breathed technology for a decade and a half.
Initiating becoming a hiring machine sequence in 3, 2, 1.
Hey everyone, it's Sam Keenly, and welcome to Becoming a Hiring Machine. This is the show dedicated to fixing recruitment by going beyond saying what needs to change and instead teaches you how to make that change. Today, we've got a great mic drop episode ahead of us, but before we get into that, I just want to tell you a little bit about the show. Essentially, we have shows within the show here. Some days we have interviews with industry thought leaders and others who are shaking up the space, while other days we cover things like trending topics. Stop by every Tuesday for a Tactical Tuesday episode where we go deep on how to do something that's going to help you drive better results in your day-to-day. Some days we open up for Q&A, and occasionally, on days like today, you get a mic drop episode from Matt where he shares something that he's been thinking about within the recruitment space and wants you to know. Now, as a reminder, if you like the content that we share here on the show, make sure that you are subscribing for more. All right, today, as I said, we've got Matt joining us, and if anyone has been following him, side note, if you haven't on LinkedIn, make sure that you are following him, but Matt has recently kicked off his, what we'll call his 100 reasons why a talent intelligence platform will replace the ATS series. And what I love about this is you're literally are taking 100 different reasons, and each post is one of those specific reasons. And not only is it a text post talking about what that reason is, but you're showing the power of the talent intelligence platform compared to what this functionality might be in an ATS and a sourcing tool, whatever the previous way, so to speak, is that someone's doing this, and how much easier it is as part of your workflow when you're able to include this. So before we get into some of these different reasons, just like what inspired you to start on this series? Because this was, as much as I would love to take credit for it, this being a brilliant marketing idea, and I tell the CEO to go do something, this was all you.
Well, I think you had something to do with it. We collaborate all the time, but it's a culmination of lots of dots popping up. But I think, Sam, you and I were talking, and I am a first principle thinker. I'm a first principle learner, and I love that. You just jump in and you're constantly trying to figure out how to solve problems. And as part of this, we talk about all the time, it's like we have the best technology in the planet in recruiting technology. We have the best recruiting software company in the planet. But a lot of people have never heard of Loxo, right? Or they don't know exactly what we do, which is the challenge of creating a new category. So, just chewing on it. But you go back to first principles. When you have enough conversations with prospective customers, it takes one conversation. One conversation, they go from, I don't know who you are, I'm happy with my current life, my current state. You tell me why we should talk, to saying, oh my God, this will completely transform recruiting, and now I get it in one conversation, right? And so it's basically, that's what happened. It's like, you just have to show people. And also, the reason why I felt like this idea was appropriate is that everything's timing based, right? It's what business stage are you at? Where's your company? Where's your product maturity? Would we be showing Loxo everywhere? And would I be doing this and sticking my neck out on the line if our product and platform wasn't ready yet? Of course not. It's good timing. Everyone should see it. Seeing is believing. And if we don't tell our story, if I don't tell our story, somebody else is going to do it. And that's the other reason that inspired me. The recruiting market is full of analysts, and the analysts and these other influencers and people in the market, they're not first principles. They haven't lived and breathed technology for a decade and a half, and they all help and support enterprise technology platforms or the incumbents who've been around for 30 years, and they need to do that because that's where they make a living, right? And it's not their fault. That's just the way the nature of markets, and that's not where the innovation is. That's not the most cutting edge technology. And they don't know. We know. We've lived and breathed. We've been in the trenches. We've built it. We're in the arena for a decade. So we're going to show people. And it's like, oh my God, you're right. I see it. And also the last thing I'll say that inspired me, I'm a competitive guy. And you have a lot of competitors too that mirror and copy a lot of the stuff that we do, which is wonderful. That's how you create a category. That's what you should do. People realize it's creating value. But oftentimes too, it's like these organizations are latching on your coattails and getting a lot of attention, even with like AI or recruiting software, right? It's like, well, that's not even real AI. So again, it's never one thing. It's the willingness to make sure that we're telling our story, we're sharing the market, we're defining the market, and we're showing people every day. And it's not one reason, it's 100. And I think that's just a big part of why I thought it was a good way to kind of connect with the market directly.
I love it. Yeah, it's going beyond the words, like you said. It's just like anyone can put, we have what AI on their website. What's that actually mean? Let's prove it to you. And then you can take this and go ask, hey, I've seen what AI looks like. I've seen what it looks like when, it should be doing this. You say you can do it. Now show it, prove it, now to see it. So I like that. So is it safe to say, 100 of these won't be quite it, but like these are 100 almost aha moments, so to speak, of the things like when people see it, all of a sudden their eyes are just like, oh my God, I didn't know that was possible. Or wow, that is so much easier. Like, is that an example of what people are going to be getting with each of these?
Yes. And completely. And my wife was talking to me about it. She saw the first video I put out about 100 reasons why. And she said, oh my God, are you kidding me? And she's like, do you know how much work that is? And I'm like, yes, I know. The whole, how much work all of this is forever, but yeah, it's a lot of work, but yeah, you got to put a lot of passion and thought into, to make it impactful. But this is what we do. We think and breathe and live it. And so we want to do it. It's not somebody just manufacturing this. This is the aha moments of Loxo. And yes, we're trying to do our best to do that, but make it, so all 100, are they going to be mind blowing, completely change the face of the recruiting? Maybe 98 of them will be, but maybe a couple won't be.
Okay, fair. Well, we won't promote the ones that are those two, but I know I've got faith in you. So let's go through a couple of these. You've literally listed them, 199, 98, 97. We can just start running through this list with you. So the first one, and it's not ironic that you put this, but it's reason number 100 is ease of use. Is why the talent intelligence platform will replace the ATS, and people are just like, ease of use, really? That's the first thing that you're going to go with. But before I start taking any words out of your mouth, why did you choose this one for the first one to lead the pack?
Yeah, great question. Ultimately what this comes down to, we're not solving cancer, right? We're not selling the best burger on the street. And we have the world's best burger. We're selling software, that business process software. And if there's lots of options, let's say there's 100 options, if they all were the exact same feature-wise, if I care and I want to create world-class design and product design, UI, UX, which is something that we're so deeply passionate about, that to me alone is something that I've always been obsessed with, and I want the company to be, and we hire for that. We have unbelievable people for it. That really matters to who we are. It's one of our biggest differentiators. Every piece of it, every workflow, that's amazing, elegant, gorgeous. The Apple of recruiting software, we built it. That's a reason why I would pick Loxo over any other recruiting software in the world. And we hear it all the time. And so no one wants to learn how to do stuff. No one's going to go through training. You shouldn't have to ask. Don't make me think. From a product design ethos, we love it, we breathe it, we live it. And we want our users to fall in love with that. So that's really important. And when you show it to people and they see it, they're like, oh my God, my platform is a dinosaur. I don't want to use this anymore.
I get it. And that's the way you put it that way. So true. I'm reading this book right now, and I shared it with you the other day as I'm looking down at Fall in Love with the Problem, Not the Solution by Yuri Levine. He's the founder of Waze and a handful of other startups. But one of the questions that he would constantly ask his team when they were designing their app and anything else was, when you think of the last 5 new apps, 2 new apps, the last one app that you downloaded on your phone, did you watch the introduction, like the 5-step tour of walking through, or did you just hit X on it as quickly as you can to get to the product? And he's like, every single one of them said, we didn't go the tour. We just jumped right into the product. And then he said, okay, how many of you stuck with it? And if you couldn't figure it out, did you use that app again? And the answer was no on almost all of them. So to that same point, like that's why ease of use is so important, because as much as we want to believe people are going to follow the long tutorials that we make, the knowledge base articles, anything else that we share, it really comes down to like, they just want to jump in and they're going to quickly tell, like, is this overwhelming, or can I use this? Is this easy enough for me to get into? And then start poking around and sort it out naturally that way.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, again, it's a great analogy. And that guy's a genius, by the way. I love Waze. I think I shared that in the past, my favorite app. But yeah, especially in technology and software, tech geeks and tech people, it's a craft, and it's genius. It's absolute genius, especially when you have complexity of a talent intelligence platform. You have lots of different products. That is so complex. And to make it simple and easy to use it's unreal. And it's just, wow, people don't even know what goes into that and how it's drag and drop. Oh, it does this. It automates data entry. Ease of use is a big, big, big deal, and it takes a decade to do.
Sort through it. Okay. So that's a great kicking off point. And I think that does segue well into reason number 99 that you shared, as it's talking about campaign sequencing and how that's integrated naturally into the workflow.
Love it. So Loxo, whether people know or not, Loxo's been the first, we're an innovator. We're the first innovator to do a lot of stuff. And when we first looked at this at the time, not that we create everything, but we're the first recruiting company to ever build this in a recruiting software. And so Predictable Revenue was a book that people can look up, and that in the past sales, how sales were done, it was spray and pray, or people would pound the phones, cold call, just like recruiting, pound the phones. Well, then somebody, a VP at sales VP of sales at Salesforce said, this is crazy. We're going to get our TAM, we're going to get our ICP, we're going to build a sequence of emails, we're going to auto follow up. Forever changed sales. You have the BDR in motion. And now we all know how you can overdo that, of course, but you have to be careful. But we said, recruiting is the same thing as sales. You send the same email over and over and over, copy, paste. So we said, recruiting is going to have this. And I remember it was where you have to be, market timing is really important. But I remember rolling this out and even telling our product team, they said, you're crazy. Like, why would we do that? Like, no, are you sure you want to do this gamble? I'm like, yes, like that's why we're here to innovate. Well, who cares if no one's ever done it? It's our vision. Why would we not? And thank God I'm the CEO and have people trust me, but we went for it, right? And it might be harder in other companies, but we built it out. It was too early. No one knew yet. And then lo and behold, now entire categories and companies are raising $100 million to do a drip email sequencing tool, and they help educate the market. And everyone suddenly realizes the value. And now every recruiting company has it. It's super expensive. It's not natively integrated. And that's the problem. It's a bolt-on, it's expensive. And so all of these companies now are trying to justify and make sure that they have enough to justify their valuation for their investors, but also that they can stay in business. So they try to become more of a quote unquote recruiting CRM, but they're not. It was never built to do that. It's a totally different ball game. But Loxo's it's world-class. It's natively built. It's been built into the DNA from day one. And it's a core piece of the end-to-end recruitment lifecycle in one unified platform.
So with this specific one, I don't know what part honestly makes me happier to see, and I feel like just brings more joy to recruiters overall with how easy it makes their life. One, either that you can set this up with one click, so any job that you're working, any prospect market that you're trying to reach out to on the biz dev side, with one click, you can turn that on within the same platform. Or the fact that you can do it on the candidate side and the BD side, it literally all happens within one place. You configure the campaigns, how you want them to go out and everything else. So it's so easy to just say, oh yeah, it's just like it's outreach, but there's so many innovative things. Like you said, there's so many things that just make your life so much easier as a recruiter. And it's always so hard to say, well, how much time does that save or anything else? But these are workflow improvements that are significant is an understatement, I feel like to say.
Dramatic. And it's so funny just to watch, again, first principles, to watch different recruiting organizations and their comfort level with new tech and how they might do it. It's really easy once you do it, right? But just looking at that, I mean, this is an entire company for like 50 companies. That's all they do. Outreach.io and SalesLoft were the first two on the sales end. That's an entire business, multi-billion-dollar businesses. Again, there's some on the recruitment side lately. That's their entire business. They have hundreds of people and hundreds of millions of dollars in venture capital to build it. Loxo's is best in class, and it's all in there. It's a big deal, but it's also like fun because it improves. People think like, oh, I'm not going to do automation. I'm going to ruin quality. It's spray and pray. They don't realize that this technology will continuously evolve. It's another product. It's not going to just stay there. The job of a technology partner in general is to help save you time and make you faster and more efficient, make you better. That's what technology has done from day one. This is you have to reach out. You have candidates, you have to reach out no matter what throughout the life cycle. You'll have technology and tools to do that. And so that's, again, it has to be natively built in and integrated. And so this is an ATS does not have that. So that's reason 99 why the talent intelligence platform will replace the ATS category.
I love it. So speaking of workflows, so that's one example of countless different data workflows that we have that are just natively built into the platform, right? So tell me about a couple of the other ones that you've gotten into, and this is number 98 on your list.
Yeah. And the Loxo outreach is not even, I would not consider it a data workflow, which is why I'm glad you're asking about this. That would be more of, it's a workflow product, whereas the data workflow, natively built in data workflow, what we're trying to show with this is that a web 3.0 platform, which is what Loxo is, you have the original SaaS platforms are web 1.0, SaaS 2.0, which is web 2.0. You just have a nicer like UI and UX. So you have very old legacy, the original OGs of SaaS, which is OG ATS. And you make it look a little more modern and nicer. That's what most companies do. So you have Greenhouse and Lever were on the in-house side. You could argue Bullhorn maybe on the agency side, web 2.0. The web 3.0 is you have data. Data is natively included in your platform, but data is worthless if it doesn't solve a problem. So the thing about recruiting is you have so many different jobs to be done. You have to go source, which is research. You have to actually do sourcing of it. You have to build target lists. You have to do business development, right? You have to get their contact enrichment. You have to add records. There's a million things, but the data piece and the workflow, because it's natively in one system, we're the only company on the planet, or the talent intelligence category is the only one on the planet that can do this. Otherwise, you'd have to duct tape again, you'd have to build it on top of Salesforce, which never works. I talked to a group this morning. Well, why didn't it work? Well, we realized after 10 years and $500 million that it wasn't built for recruiting organizations. Well, gee, so yeah. And just this whole, if you watch reason number 98, that video, you'll really kind of see the examples. Sourcing is a very clear example, but even you think tiny things about how long it takes to create a record or not have to create a record because we already have all the companies and people in there. It's autocomplete. So type in the name of the company, you'll see the logo and name. It's like, oh my God, I wanted to create that company record and it took me one click versus 15 minutes. And then you have duplicate data because another team member made it, right? It's pretty mind blowing. It's a data-driven platform that constantly is self-updating, and it's throughout every single step of the entire recruitment lifecycle. There's really elegant, awesome pieces of data that just enhance or enrich the workflow and supplement the, whatever recruiting or account management or BD or the hiring manager experience, every single persona throughout the workflow.
Mm-hmm. So you touched on sourcing a little bit within there, and I think that's a good segue for us to get into number 97, which is really talking about just the state-of-the-art search capabilities that are possible within a talent intelligence platform. So talk to us about that one.
Yeah. If I were to talk to 1,000 people, 998 would say search is really important. State-of-the-art search is one of the biggest reasons why, and they would blow right by it. That includes recruiters. There's a reason why this is one of the most important things and the biggest differentiator. And the reason why is a legacy ATS, you can't find anything in your database. You can't find it. That's the number one job to be done. And why would it be the number one job? What's the problem to solve as recruiting? You're a recruiter. What is your problem to solve? Somebody's asking you to make a hire. Well, how do you do that? I have an open job rec. I have a pool of candidates. Okay, well, go find the right candidates. What? I don't know where they are. Well, they're in your database, buddy. Go look in your database. Well, I don't know how to find them. They're not in my database. That's a problem, right? It's called search. So state-of-the-art search capabilities, it doesn't have to be sophisticated or difficult. It means it needs to be easy to use. Hey, I don't want it to be rocket science. I don't want to have to create a crazy 100 buttons and filters and if this then statements. I just want to find who I'm looking for, make it really simple, and and be able to rediscover candidates over time. So it's a really big deal, but how that's architected from a technology perspective is actually very difficult, which is why they don't have it. And it took us a long time. I think we probably spent over 2 years to really refine, and it's custom built. It's unbelievable. 2 years to build out to solve one little tiny problem. It's a big deal.
Which sounds like it should be so simple, but it's not. And that's exactly why the legacy ATS hasn't been able to do it in all this time. So you mentioned within there as well the ability to enrich and refresh the candidate data that you have within your CRM. And this is something that we've been doing for a bit now. And why I love, because this is a testament to the market seeing what needs to happen with the talent intelligence platform will replace the ATS. And we're not even saying just in general, like Loxo. Yes, we love it if you choose Loxo, but just in general, the needs of recruiters are changing because we're seeing some of our competitors now offer this within their source packages, within their ATSs, is we are now letting you, it's enriching data, refreshing data. I don't know the level at which they're doing it, but they're recognizing this is a need. This is a talent intelligence function that is happening. We're watching others go in and take it on. So just like, what does that tell you about, this isn't just us preaching the message of the talent intelligence platform is going to replace the ATS, but this is everyone is recognizing and seeing this change happen.
Yeah, it is. And so there's one of my favorite books that I've read, and I try to read books in a cluster. So as I want to learn something throughout being a first principle learner, wherever you are in your life, in your career path, I think it's amazing to try to be a first principle and learn it. So if you want to learn management, go research and read the top 10 management books. Sounds like a lot, but when you read that many very quickly and then you apply it, you become an expert really quickly. Same with leadership, same with product, whatever it is. Category creation is really important because that's what we've done. And there's a time and a place, but one of these ones talks about you're in a tornado. And what that means is you start to everything around you. You just know in the timing. That's what is happening at Loxo. We've created this category, and it's all of a sudden everyone's using your language. Everyone's copying that. Look at the talent intelligence, the whole category now that we own, that we're leading. But not only that, is we've defined what that means, the pieces to the puzzle. Everyone is copying us. It's not one company. We are Loxo are the ones that came up. That's great. That's wonderful. We don't really care. As long as everyone understands that this is the problem to solve and it helps the whole market. But that's category creation. And so the reason why competitors are doing that is because the market needs it. It solves a real, genuine problem, and they should, and everyone should. But then it's like, that's category creation. But in SaaS, most people don't know this. Peter Thiel talks a lot about 0 to 1, if anyone else read that book. SaaS drives everything to 0 because it becomes a commodity. And so these companies that are just latching on are going to really struggle because you can't just copy pixels in Web 3.0. It's almost impossible. So again, it's really amazing that companies are doing that, but to make things profitable and to execute on it and actually pull it off it's really, really difficult. Not to say other companies can't do it, but you need a lot of capital, you need world-class talent, you need patience, you need long-term time horizons. So it's the talent intelligence platform will replace the ATS category. It's just a matter of time, but it's already, there's subcategories that are popping up from underneath it, but the market is now using that language. Analysts are using the language. It's really, really cool.
Mm-hmm. So you say it's really hard for many people to do this and to make it profitable. For reason number 95, you said the reason the talent intelligence platform will replace the ATS is because part of it's free. So explain that one to us.
Yeah, exactly. Again, another one when I thought our company was going to revolt and I'll quit when I said this. Yeah, that happens a lot. And it was really terrifying. And so what happens, this is also why it's not possible for companies to do it. So if I had one reason, again, you walk into a group of 1,000 recruiting companies and say, hey, 1,000 recruiting companies, and you have 10 offers or 10 ATS suppliers. They all have the same features and functions, maybe a little bit different UI, UX. They're all the same. How much do they all cost? $100 a month per recruiter, $200 a month per recruiter range. But this one's free. If they all offer the same features and functionality, all of them, all the same, and one's free, or you have to pay, which one are you going to pick? Now, if that free one is actually the same, apples to apples, and it's the best UI, UX, and it's free, which one are you going to pick? And so that's why we did it, because we know it's the best. We believe, we're very passionate. We see it every day. We believe it's the best ATS recruiting CRMs. They're different. You can use both. You can get one or the other. It's the best ATS and the best recruiting CRM in the world, and it's free. However, we believe so much the talent intelligence platform will replace the ATS category, and that we believe so much that there's so much more value, that's unbelievable value at a very affordable cost in the talent intelligence platform, that the free version, over time, most software is going to cannibalize itself down to free. We get it. We're going to do it to ourselves. We're not going to let anyone else cannibalize Loxo. We are going to gobble up the market. And we know it, and we live and breathe it. And it takes a decade to build this software. So unfortunately, these ATSs who were just sitting there not innovating for their customer partners, that's why the talent intelligence platform will replace it. The ATS will not exist. They're already going out of business.
Yeah. And one of the other things I like about it is psychologically is you have new agencies starting up, and that's the long tail of the market that we serve are, the smaller niche recruitment agencies. It's 1 to 2 people. Historically, when they start their agency, they don't have money yet. So they use Google Sheets. They use, cheap alternatives to it. So we're able to get in front of them by one, like you said, providing them with an ATS, providing them with an easy to use ATS, providing them with the best ATS. And it's also quickly showing them what is possible when you finally need stuff to grow beyond the ATS and get into the talent intelligence platform. You're already in that ecosystem. You already have everything available to you. And so it's almost able to educate and guide them through that journey. So it's so easy for them to make that change. I mean, I was looking in a different social media forum the other day, and I forget the exact quote that someone said, but they were just like, if I never had to do a data migration from an ATS again, I will die a happy person. Yeah. Like, that's how big the desire to just not have to deal with it is in this space.
Yeah, and you bring up a really good point. The vast majority of the economy in general are small businesses. They don't hire that often, right? And they don't need a really expensive system. And then also, most companies just in general, they might not have 100 recruiters, and so it's like, well, there's so many benefits to it. And again, it's an unbelievable technology and platform. Exactly what you said. If you're just getting started, you're just spending up, you don't quite have the budget, you have a smaller team, you're trying to drop down and save some money for a while. It's like you get the best ATS recruiting CRM for free forever. And then when you're ready and you're really ready to be a world-class recruiting organization, then it's a natural and inevitable upgrade.
Mm-hmm. And so that'll leave us, we've got time for one more. And I think this goes in well to point number 94 with helping the long tail of the market and how they grow their business is there is a native sales CRM built into the talent intelligence platform.
Yeah. So this is another one that Loxo, it never before existed before we were here. And we got, again, the same internal debate. I mean, and I'm talking a serious debate on this one because it was expensive to invest in this. Said, what are we thinking? Are you kidding me? We're building a sales CRM? What are you thinking? We're a recruiting company. And I said, it doesn't matter. And thank God I'm a founder CEO, and people, hopefully somebody here can't fire me for this, but I really believe in it. So much so I'm willing to invest a lot of time and allocate resources away from all these other things our customers are asking us for. And I said, we need this. And they said, why? And I said, well, take a deep breath. Why are we here? An ATS already exists, everybody. We don't need to build and that it exists. It's not going to do anything. Zoom out and slow down. Be long-term. Who is our customers? What is their business like? If you were a recruiting company, an organization, what do you need in your business and why? And so all you do is you audit. How do you do your job today? Help me understand the current state. Oh my God, you do business development? Yes, that's our livelihood. We have to get job orders and to earn a living. Oh, okay. Well, how do you do that? Well, we don't. It's not sophisticated, or we have Excel sheets, or we use these mishmash of LinkedIn or ZoomInfo, or we try to do it on top of Salesforce, and that's so important, but Salesforce is horrible. So now we're not efficient. We're not making any placements, right? Or now we're trying to do it on HubSpot. It doesn't matter. However people do it, it's so core to the lifeblood and the entire business. And so our job as a technology partner, that's our job. Build the technology to solve your customers' problems in one end-to-end UI. And so it's natively built. And you never have to pay for another system. The data automatically switches. It starts to automate things. The reporting now magically works. And it's going to become more and more important and compound over time.
Okay. Well, I think that's a perfect spot for us to wrap up this first part on the 100 reasons. So you now know you're on the hook, not only to write out, you've got over 90 left, but I'm going to be having you back on to continue to go through these and just help speak to it a little bit more for everyone. But right before we wrap, any last second thoughts or wisdom that you want to share here?
No, thanks, Sam, for inviting me today and going through this. And yeah, I hope this is helpful for everyone. And yeah, it's so exciting to actually share. I mean, the questions you always ask in these sessions are fun because you make people really think and see the raw behind the scenes and what it's really like, and the genuine approach of where we are, where the company's been, where the industry's been, where it's going. And we're all in this together. It's a community. Everyone wants world-class software and technology for recruitment, and we're in it together. So hopefully everyone listening and watching kind of get that and are excited by it too.
I love it. Yes. And I think, that's always they want to know why and just hear the story because they don't get that elsewhere. So, all right, Matt, well, as always, I appreciate you hopping in with us. So as we wrap, Becoming a Hiring Machine is a production of Loxo. If you like this episode, but you're not sure where to go next, we've got a link to a similar one, and you can find that in the description of your favorite podcast streaming platform. We also have it on our website, loxo.co/podcasts. We have full video episodes on YouTube if you want to check those out there. If you ever have questions, send them to us at podcast@loxo.co. And lastly, if you did enjoy this one, make sure that you leave us a quick rating in your podcast streaming platform. It only takes you 3 seconds, but it's going to help other recruiters like you to find us. So, all right, everyone, that's the show. That was a great mic drop episode with Matt. Until next time, bye, y'all.